Let me tell you a story about my wife, Karan. Now, I always tell my patients, shop the perimeter of the grocery store because that's where the real food lives. You got your meats, your dairy, and your fresh produce. But what does Karan do? She decides to take a detour right into the belly of the beast. She veers off into the dreaded middle aisles. And that's where you find the boxed, bagged, and barcoded foods. That's where they live. And that's when it happened. She found herself face to face with the snack aisle. Doritos, potato chips, and neon-colored puffs of who knows what. And then she looked down at the price tags. Funyuns, $5.49. Doritos, $6.29. Then I thought to myself, I thought inflation was just hitting the gas prices, not the Cheetos. Because to be honest, I rarely go down the processed food junk aisle. I did notice that processed food became a luxury item, but at this point I need to start checking my credit score before I walk down any snack aisle. So she came home with her eyes wide open and said, "Tony, you're not gonna believe this. Junk food is expensive." And I said, "Well, baby, that's what happens when you leave the land of steak and eggs for the land of powdered cheese and mystery ingredients." But you know what I didn't ask her? What were you doing in the junk food aisle in the first place? But I was so shocked by the prices, I let that one slide. That big bag of Doritos, $6. And maybe more depending on where you live. And let's be real, you open that bag and half of it is just air. I call that the snack tax. Meanwhile, for that same $6, she told me that the Cornish hens were only $5.99. And the beef chuck, if you divide the $17.06 by the 2.44 pounds, it costs about $6.99 per pound. She also saw that the ground beef was $6.99 a pound. And when we're at Sam's, we can get a rotisserie chicken for $4.99 for the entire chicken. And unlike a bag of chips, those foods actually fill you up. No serving size deception here. Let's talk about that for a second. You ever look at the serving size of a bag of chips? They have the audacity to say 1 serving equals 11 chips. 11. Nobody in the history of snacking ever stopped at 11 chips. You may have intentions to eat just 11, then you black out and suddenly your fingers are orange, your stomach hurts, and you're questioning your life choices. But when you eat a real meal, say a juicy steak, or some eggs you eat, you get full and move on with your life. No guilt, no regret, just real food doing its job. Now they want you to believe that eating healthy is expensive. But let's do the math. A McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese meal, that's a burger, fries, and a drink, is pushing $10.69 or even more depending on where you live. And if you upgrade to a Big Mac, even more. And if you get fancy and add bacon, now you're in the fine dining territory. But for a similar price, you can buy a pound of steak, cook it yourself with butter, and pair it with some eggs or a side of cheese. And boom, you've got a meal that actually nourishes your body. Not one that leaves you hungry an hour later, reaching for another overpriced snack. And let's talk about what you're actually eating. A bag of Doritos contains corn, seed oils, artificial flavors, preservatives, and some ingredients you can't even pronounce without a chemistry degree. A pound of ground beef, what's the ingredient? Beef. One of those will sustain you, and the other, no matter how many bags you eat, you will never get the same nutritional value found in 1 pound of ground beef. Here's the truth. The real cost of junk food isn't just the price tag. It's what it costs you later. It costs you your health. It costs your energy. It costs you your metabolism. It costs you your ability to think clearly. It costs you time because you're constantly snacking instead of being satisfied after a real meal. It costs you sleep because sugar and processed foods disrupt your hormones. It costs you your mood because junk food affects brain chemistry. It costs you money, not just in overpriced snacks, but in medical bills, medications, and lost productivity. And it costs you years of your life. And for what? A moment of crunchy, salty pleasure. That's not a trade-off I'm willing to make, and I'm sure you feel the same way. But the good news, you can take back control. It starts with real food. It starts with shopping smart, cooking at home, and realizing that health isn't just about what you eat. It's about what you don't eat. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's the most ridiculous price you've seen on processed junk food lately? Have you made the switch to eating real food? How has it changed your well-being and, of course, the grocery bill? And most importantly, how many of you have found yourselves wandering in the middle aisles of the grocery store? How many Karans are out there who just happen to make a wrong turn in the store? I thank you again for coming to this video, and if you found it helpful, do me a favor. Like, share, and subscribe. Because the more people that wake up to the truth about food, the healthier we all become. Remember, health isn't found in the snack aisle. It's found on your plate. Stay healthy, stay strong, and stay out of the middle aisles.